Guys, welcome back to Southern Extreme TV. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on my channel. Today I've got a really cool video. We're going to be talking about turkey hunting shotguns and which one is right for you. As always, if you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We are trying to grow this thing to 100,000 subs, and every click gets me a little bit closer to that ultimate goal. Today, we're talking about turkey hunting shotguns, which one may be for you, which one may not be for you. So I'm really excited to be talking about this with y'all today, but I want to take a minute and thank this video sponsor, because if it's not for channel sponsors, then these videos don't happen or take place. So today's video is sponsored by a company called Ink Irma, and basically they manufacture a wide range of products, but they manufacture this really cool pocket style rangefinder. It is very, very small, very compact, which I really like because this is going to be going into my turkey hunting pack. One thing I hate carrying is a rangefinder in the turkey woods, because typically it seems like it just bogs down and it gets real heavy and in the way of a lot of stuff. But this one, being extremely small and compact, it allows me to pack it and take it. So if I do get into a situation where I need to range different yardages, so I know where I can and maybe can't shoot, this is a fantastic, very budget friendly option. You can use it for turkey hunting, you can use it for golf, you can use it for deer hunting, use it for a wide range of different activities. So really appreciate the channel sponsor, because without people like this YouTube channel doesn't happen. So go over, take a look at these little micro rangefinders that they got. You're gonna be really impressed with them. So really appreciate it. Now that we got the sales pitch out of the way, let's talk about the actual shotguns. And let's talk about kind of the starting point, if you will, because I want to work from kind of that position where maybe you guys are not just full-blown turkey hunters, where you're going to be going and traveling to 5, 6, 7 different states turkey hunting. Maybe you don't have a dedicated turkey shotgun, or maybe you don't necessarily need a dedicated turkey hunting shotgun. I want to kind of cover the biggest range, or the biggest rainbow, if you will, of the turkey hunting shotguns that's out there. So let's start, number one, with what I would consider to be just a run-of-the-mill, very average Joe Blow shotgun. Now, the one thing that I do not have laid up here is a pump action shotgun. I do not want to skip over pump action shotguns, because there is a place for pump action shotguns in the turkey hunting woods, because they're very budget friendly, they're very simple to use, and they're very, very reliable. However, the ones that I have up here, they're all semi-automatic, so that's the way that we're gonna work. But number one, I've got just a run-of-the-mill Stoeger M3000. And some of you guys might say, well, why would you say that this is a turkey hunting shotgun? Because it's solid black, and the majority of turkey hunting shotguns that you see on the market are camouflage, very similar to these that you see back here behind me. And though that may be true, if you are somebody who's getting into turkey hunting, maybe you're just getting started, or maybe you just don't have that many places to go and turkey hunt, it doesn't necessarily make a whole lot of sense to have a dedicated turkey hunting shotgun, which to me is where something like this Stoeger M3000 comes into play. Because with a gun like this, you get a wide arrangement of choke tubes, so that you can actually use this gun, say if you're gonna go shoot doves, if you're gonna go shoot upland game, if you're just gonna target practice, you can use it for self-defense, home defense. But it also comes with a turkey choke from Stoeger, which allows you to go turkey hunting with it. And the best thing about it is it does it for a very budget-friendly option. This gun right here, MSRP is for right around $550 to $600. Obviously, if you go with a pump action shotgun, you can save a good bit more money. You can probably save closer to $200 off of that, and you can get a pump gun very similar to this for that $250 to $350 price range, and maybe that's more your speed. But the point that we're trying to make is that you don't necessarily have to have these camouflage, Picatinny rail with the optics on it. You don't have to have that to get out into the turkey woods to start enjoying the sport of turkey hunting. So this is one option for those of you that are maybe just looking to get into the sport. Maybe you don't want to break the bank. Maybe you want a gun that you can get turkey hunt with use it for something else, and then if you decide that you want to get a more dedicated style turkey gun, then you still have this gun that's in the safe and you're not losing any money on it. So absolutely fantastic gun, very reliable. The M3000 series, they run 2 3/4 shells as well as 3-inch shells. So I want to point that out, because when we start getting into some of these more dedicated Stoeger and turkey hunting shotguns, you will start seeing that the chambers will start being offered in 3 1/2-inch shells. And I'll go into a little bit more detail behind that here in just a second. So just to kind of kick it off, Stoeger M3000, very simplistic, black, very cheap, very budget oriented type of gun. Will get the job done and kill turkeys. Now, let's talk about somebody who maybe you're into waterfowl hunting, or maybe you're into just hunting in general and you like shotguns, but maybe you're still not quite at that brink where you're ready to have a truly dedicated turkey gun, but maybe I guess maybe you could justify having a little bit better of a gun versus maybe what the Stoeger M3000 is. You could go with something very similar to this TriStar. Now, this TriStar is still a very budget-oriented, budget-friendly, semi-automatic, 3-inch chambered shotgun. It's in 12 gauge. You can take this thing dove hunting. You can take it upland game hunting. Obviously, it's in a camouflage pattern for you waterfowl guys. It's in the blades camo, mossy oak blades. And the good thing about it is it comes with choke tubes, very similar to the Stoeger, where you get improved cylinder, the modifieds, the full, and you get an extra tight turkey choke. So you don't have to really break the bank as far as getting yet again another good turkey shotgun, because you can get this shotgun, you can use it for all of those things that I just previously mentioned. You can use it for home defense, but you can also take this thing out and use it turkey hunting. So it's a good bridge, in my opinion, from, let's say, the Stoeger M3000, which is just a very, I'm not gonna say that every M3000 is that way, but this specific model where it's solid black, it's a very budget friendly option. This is somewhat of an upgrade from this. This is a shotgun that's gonna be more designed for people who are going hunting. They're going out and maybe shooting upland or waterfowl, but maybe you just dabble in turkey hunting on the side, and yet again, you're still not quite at that point where you're like, man, I want a just dedicated turkey hunting shotgun. If you're not quite at that point, but yet you're still out in the field, you're still shooting birds, you're still shooting game, this right here could be a very good option as well, because again, you're getting one shotgun that is covering a lot of bases for you out in the field hunting. Again, I mentioned this is chambered in 2 3/4 and 3-inch, so this will shoot all the way up to a 3-inch Magnum. You're still not quite shooting that 3 1/2-inch yet, even though they do make some waterfowl style shotguns that are shooting 3 1/2-inch shells, but typically those shotguns are just like a turkey. They're more target game specific. They're more dedicated purely for somebody who has, this is my waterfowl hunting shotgun, this is my turkey hunting shotgun. Typically, once you start getting up into that category, you start seeing people having multiple shotguns for different purposes. But I really like the 3-inch chambering because it's very simple, it's very easy to find ammunition, and it doesn't kick quite as hard as what a 3 1/2-inch Magnum shell does out of a gun. So really great option right here for those of you guys that are a little bit on the that's not really a word, on I'll say the more dedicated side than what, say, this solid black Stoeger M3000 would be. So again, TriStar Viper G2, that would be a very good option for those of you that are hunting and you want to have a shotgun that you can go and turkey hunt with, but you also don't want it to necessarily be somewhat dedicated to that. Now, let's talk about, I'm going to jump across the board a little bit. We talked about a 12 gauge and a 12 gauge, which in my opinion is probably the most versatile turkey hunting shotgun that's out there, because you can shoot 2 3/4 shells out of them, so you can shoot really light loads, but then you can shoot the 3-inch Magnum, so you can shoot turkeys out at 40, 50, maybe 60 yards, depending on your choke and your shell setup. But let's talk about 20 gauges, because now with the advancement in shot shell technology, we are able to utilize that technology in 20 gauge shells. And what I mean by that is going out and hunting with the 20 gauge way back when used to be almost a very niche type thing. People only did it if they wanted a challenge. But now people are actually using 20 gauge shotguns as their dedicated hunting rigs for turkeys. Now, where I think that this is another really good bridge between maybe the TriStar and the Stoeger is, let's say maybe you have kids. Maybe you have kids that are starting to get into the shooting sport, starting to get into the hunting industry. Maybe you don't necessarily have a turkey gun that is set up either for yourself or maybe even for your kids. This is where a 20 gauge, in my opinion, could really shine, because it will cover a lot of bases. You can use the 20 gauge for target practice, for taking kids out, let them shoot clays, let them shoot doves, let them go upland hunting, let them go duck hunting. There's duck rounds in 20 gauge now. A lot of people really enjoy shooting a 20 gauge for waterfowl, but all of those things are very valid options, especially if you don't necessarily have a gun yet. And the 20 gauge, yet again, here's another TriStar. That 20 gauge will allow you to do all of that. It will allow you to get those younger youth hunters out into the woods, hunting a wide variety of different game, and you can do it with very little and mitigated recoil, which is a very big deal. Now with this specific one, this is just a TriStar Viper. This is a 20 gauge. Now you can see that I've had this gun actually dipped in the mossy oak old school green leaf camouflage. Now before, this gun actually looked exactly like this Stoeger, except it was a 20 gauge. So if you held these guns up before this one was dipped in camouflage, these guns looked exactly the same. Now obviously this one right here, the 20 gauge, it now has a red dot optic on it and a Picatinny rail, because it is it is a dedicated 20 gauge turkey hunting shotgun. And that's the reason why I think a 20 gauge can be a very good option, especially on the semi-automatic platform, because it's simple for those younger shooters to use, but it allows you to grow. Let's say you get this gun, very similar to like this Stoeger where it was solid black, and let's say that you guys are using it for shooting clays, shooting doves, shooting upland birds, you're taking it turkey hunting some, and let's say that you decide down the road that it's time that you increase or you step up and you get a more dedicated turkey hunting shotgun, then you can do one of two things. You can either turn this 20 gauge like I did with this one, you can turn it into a dedicated 20 gauge turkey hunting shotgun, or you can just keep it in the gun safe, and then you can go and you can upgrade to another 20 or another 12 gauge or even another 20 gauge for that matter. So don't shy away from the 20 gauges, because these things are very deadly. They are very accurate, and again, with the technology that we have nowadays with shot shells, you can kill some turkeys at a very long distance with a 20 gauge, and man, they're just super fun and very accurate and very comfortable to carry and shoot. Now I want to talk about another 20 gauge as well, going on to the next buck, but this right here is what I would say is just your general full length adult size 20 gauge. So you can kind of take that for what you want. If you've got a younger shooter that you're thinking about, this full length may not be the one for you, but there is options like this one, and this is a youth model. This is a Raptor 20 gauge, also by TriStar. I started to feel like this video is dedicated directly to TriStar, even though that's not really the case. But obviously there's a lot of different options out there, and that's why I wanted to show it to you guys. But this is a youth model TriStar Raptor 20 gauge, not 20 inch. And what I really like about this one is it's very short and compact. The length of pull here is very short. And this is actually I'm not going to say that it's my dedicated turkey hunting gun, but it's my backup dedicated turkey hunting gun. And the reason that I went with it is for situations where maybe I'm going and hunting some public ground. Maybe I'm going and I'm hunting some really thick cover where I need a really short length of pull and a short barrel that I can maneuver very easily. It's very streamlined. It allows me to do all of that. And from the factory, it's got this really cool camouflage pattern, which I'm a big fan of. So you do have options with the 20 gauge. I would say that there's more options with the youth model 20 gauges than you're probably going to see in what I would say a youth model 12 gauge. And the reason for that is a multitude of things. It's recoil reduction going from a 20 to a 12, but then it's also just the ability to get the youth models in the 20 gauges versus the 12, and the shot shell technology. Again, I'm just going to keep talking about that because that has really what has opened the door for everybody in the 20 gauge market. It's allowing us to kill birds at 40 and 50 yards with these little 20 gauge shotguns, and they're not breaking the bank. That's the other great thing about it, is these shotguns are very budget friendly. I believe that this shotgun, just again, now this shotgun was plain Jane black, around $350 to $400, maybe $300. Camouflage, the dip on it is probably around $100. This one is going to come straight from the factory looking like this. This gun is going to MSRP for right around $500. So again, both of these guns in the 20 gauge realm are about the same price as what this 12 gauge is, that's just solid black. Now, you're talking about two different name brands, two different manufacturers, so I understand that. You've got an inertia-driven system versus a gas-operated system, which that's a conversation for a different video. But there's a lot of different options out there, and all of these things may check different boxes for different individuals. And that's the reason why I love talking about so many different guns, because just because this gun right here checks a lot of boxes for me doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to check a whole lot of boxes for maybe you guys. But for those of you that are starting a family, maybe you just started a family, maybe you're hoping to introduce your kids into the world of shooting sports and hunting, don't be scared to venture out and get you a 20 gauge, because again, let's say that you get this 20 gauge and your kid starts growing up, or maybe you start getting more dedicated into turkey hunting. You've always got this as a backup gun. You've always got this that kid can grow up using, and then they can obviously transition into a 12 gauge if they even decide to start shooting a 12 gauge, because a lot of people, once they shoot a 20 gauge and they kill a couple turkeys with it, it's very difficult for them to kind of step to that 12 gauge realm, just because of the increased weight and because of the increased recoil that you're going to be getting with that 12-inch gun. So don't shy away from a little youth model 20 gauge. Now, let's talk about, in my opinion, my favorite turkey gun that I have ever used. And I'm a little biased on this gun because I have killed a bunch of turkeys with this gun. This is my dedicated turkey hunting shotgun. This is a Stoeger M3500. Now I want you to notice that the 3500 is going to differ from the 3000, and the way that that's going to differ is this one is going to allow me to shoot a 3.5-inch shell versus this one only allowing me to shoot a 3-inch. Again, this is going to be a dedicated turkey hunting shotgun. Not necessarily saying that I couldn't go out and shoot skeet and go shoot upland game with it if I wanted to. That's just not really the design intent behind this shotgun. This shotgun is built and designed specifically for one thing, and that is knocking turkeys on their butts. It's got the vertical pistol grip. The reason that I like that is a lot of times when I'm sitting down up against a tree when I'm turkey hunting, it's very easy for my hand to be in a good shooting position versus a normal shotgun where maybe this hand and this elbow is slightly cocked. To me, I feel like I can just get away with a little bit less movement shooting a vertical pistol grip versus a traditional. One negative to the vertical pistol grip is the footprint. Obviously, let's see here, the footprint between these two right here, they got the same length barrel, both 24-inch barrel, but you can see that this one with the pistol grip is taking up more space than what this one right here is. And that can be a negative, like if you're climbing in and out of some thicker stuff, if you're going through mountain laurel and a bunch of other stuff, there's chances that this could get caught. But again, for me, the ability to shoot this accurately, the comfort level that I have behind the pistol grip on this one, it exceeds all the negatives for me. And again, this one's chambered in a 3.5 inch chamber, and that allows me to shoot those 3.5 inch shells, which again, with a bigger shell, you're gonna get some heavier recoil. However, I can tell you that I've killed some turkeys with not shooting TSS. I don't shoot TSS for turkey, not because I don't want to, just because they're a little on the pricey side. I'm shooting Longbeard XRs, number 5s, typically number 5s, maybe some number 4s, and I've killed multiple turkeys at that 60 to 65 yard range with this gun. Again, coming from Stoeger, you're going to get all of the normal choke tubes, your improved cylinder, your modified, your full, but you're also going to get a factory, what they call a turkey choke, which is just their extra full choke tube, which is what I'm using out of this shotgun. I've had really good success with this choke tube. Even though there's probably some better choke tubes out there on the market, you don't have to have that. And that's kind of what I wanted this video to be geared against, or geared towards, is the ability to get the specific shotgun that's going to fit your needs. And then that would allow you to either grow with it or to set it to the side and upgrade and do something different. But again, this is a very turkey dedicated type of shotgun. I've got an EOTech red dot on top of this. So you're talking about a $500 optic on top of probably a $700-ish shotgun. I think I paid around $700 for this shotgun whenever I bought it new, and it's been worth every penny. But again, we go out and we turkey hunt a whole bunch. We have different hunting situations where I might be hunting the edge of a field, where taking a 60-yard shot is a very realistic option. If I was somebody who was solely hunting hardwoods, or maybe some thick creek bottoms where maybe my maximum shot is going to be 40-ish yards, there's a chance that I might go with something more along the lines of this 20 gauge, because this 20 gauge is going to weigh about 2 pounds lighter. It's going to be more streamlined. I can still get a red dot optic on here, and it's cheaper. So all in all, this gun here is going to cost relatively $200, maybe $300 cheaper than what this gun is going to. I don't have to shoot the 3.5 inch shells out of this one. I can shoot just the 3 inch. And I'm effectively killing the same amount of turkeys with it. The only difference is that last probably 15 to 20 yards, where the 20 gauge really will start tapering off. Unless you're shooting TSS rounds, the 20 gauge will really start tapering off at that 45 to 50 yard mark, whereas this 12 gauge, I'm still holding strong all the way out to that 60, 65 yard mark, as long as your ammunition and your choke tube combination is accurate. If you get those two things dialed in, you can kill those turkeys at some pretty good distances. Now, some people may agree with that, some people may disagree. A lot of people like to call them up to 30, 40 yards and let that be the maximum distance that you can shoot them, and that's perfectly fine. However you want to do it, that's your call, it's your bird, it's your hunt. But again, absolutely love this Stoeger, and there's a wide range of different guns that are out there on the market that is dedicated specifically and solely to turkey hunting. Doesn't mean that you can't take it out and shoot skeet, you can't take it out and predator hunt with it, because you most certainly can. It's just that the design and the build intent behind this is solely for shooting turkeys, and that's the reason that I got it. So hopefully you guys, if y'all were in the market, if you're thinking about starting turkey hunting this year, maybe you've been in it for a little bit and you're just trying to figure out, do I bite the bullet and buy that $600 or $700 dedicated turkey hunting shotgun or more? There's turkey shotguns out there that are $1,000 to $2,000, so you can effectively spend however much you want to spend on them. But typically those dedicated turkey shotguns, you're seeing starting out at about that $600 to $650 price tag on the low end, and then it just escalates from there. So, hopefully this will help kind of dial you in and maybe give some different perspectives of what you may need, what you might not need. Do you already have a shotgun that you can utilize for turkey hunting? Because again, just to revamp, this gun right here, I bought to dove hunt hunt with, just as a simple 20 gauge semi-automatic, very cheap, and it was sitting in my gun safe, was solid black. And the advancement in shot shell technology, I said, well, you know, I bet I can knock down a couple turkeys with that thing. And that prompted me to go get this thing dipped in this camouflage to where I could go and turkey hunt with it. And not saying that you have to have a camouflage shotgun to go and turkey hunt with. It's just, I prefer a camouflage shotgun because turkeys have very, very good eyesight. If you don't know that already and you're getting ready to start turkey hunting, you're getting ready to find out pretty soon. That's the only reason that I transitioned that one from a solid black shotgun over to the camouflage. So I hope this video helped. If there's any questions that you have about anything that I went over in this video, drop a comment down below. I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. Again, there's probably some talking points and different directions that I didn't cover on these individual specific shotguns. I just want to kind of keep it kind of high level and keep the ball rolling as fast as I could. So again, if there's questions, drop a comment down below. If you have a question about any of these specific shotguns, or maybe even not these specific shotguns, maybe it's another shotgun that you got a question on, drop a comment down below, shoot me a message on my social media pages. I love talking guns and ammunition and optics and just hunting in general. So don't feel shy or bashful to shoot me a message and talk about it, because I certainly would enjoy it. And hopefully this video helped y'all out. Like I said at the start of the video, if you are new to this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We are trying to grow this thing to 100,000 subs. So every click gets me one step closer to that goal. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys on the next episode.